Hey everyone, I'm Kristen, the anxiety therapist, and today I'm going to be talking about a couple of concepts relating to emotional intelligence and self-awareness. So sometimes my clients have kind of a hard time identifying either how they're feeling or where some of their anxiety is coming from. And so there are two acronyms that we can use to kind of gain some insight into what might be making us feel a particular way. So the first one is NAILED, N-A-I-L-E-D. And so that stands for needy, anxious, inadequate, lonely, exposed, and depleted. So if we're feeling emotional in some way or distressed in some way, we can kind of check in with ourselves and go through that list of the NAILED acronym and ask ourselves, okay, am I feeling needy? And if I am feeling needy, what does that mean? Usually that means that we want to feel cared for. We want to feel cared about, and to go kind of seek out opportunities to create that feeling using your support system. Second is anxious. So if we're feeling anxious about something, a lot of times that's anticipatory. We have something coming up and we're fearing the worst, or we have sort of negative assumptions about that. So we can do some sort of reframing and really ask ourselves how likely it is that something will happen that is truly catastrophic, or kind of run through those basic thought processes with ourselves. Third is inadequate. So if we're feeling inadequate, that means that we're not feeling very confident. Maybe we're comparing ourselves to others. This can come up a lot if we're scrolling through social media and we're comparing our lives to kind of someone else's highlight reel, so to speak, and we might feel inadequate, like we don't measure up. And so I think in that case, it's important to use some affirmations and some positive self-talk and just kind of focus on the positive things about yourself or your life that you can pick out. L is for lonely. Obviously, if we're feeling lonely, it means that we're feeling disconnected from other people. So I'd again recommend reaching out to your support system. If we feel exposed, usually that means we're feeling vulnerable in some way. Maybe we're embarrassed about something. So in that case, I think, again, just sort of reframing the situation. Was it really as bad as I feel like it was? Or, if I'm feeling embarrassed about something, what are the repercussions of being judged for whatever it is that I'm feeling embarrassed about? Usually it's much more inflated in our minds than it is in reality. And then finally, the D is for depleted. So if we're feeling depleted, that could be emotionally, mentally, physically, and so we want to do something restorative. We need to do something that will replenish and restore that either that emotional, mental, or physical energy. Another acronym I like is HALT, and that stands for hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. So I'm sure all of you guys have heard the term hangry. I know I get hangry if I get too hungry, and that affects my mood. So if we're feeling hungry, that can be a physical sensation in which we truly haven't eaten in a long time and our body needs food, but it can also be psychological. So if it is psychological, trying to get to the root of why we feel like we need to be emotionally eating. Are we bored? Are we stressed? What is behind that? Angry is second. So if the A is for anger, if we feel angry, usually that's a secondary emotion. So there's usually a more vulnerable emotion underneath that anger. So trying to figure out, okay, what's actually underneath my anger? Am I feeling disrespected? Am I feeling sad about something? A lot of times we don't like to acknowledge the more vulnerable feelings because they're scary, right? They're vulnerable. Nobody likes to feel vulnerable, but acknowledging those is really important. And then just having an outlet for that anger. So maybe, go for a walk or get some physical activity in. L is for lonely, same as the NAILED acronym, so utilize your support system. And then finally, the T is for tired. And again, this can be physical. Let's say, we only got a few hours of sleep the night before. Go ahead and take a nap. But it can also be psychological. So maybe we're feeling burnt out. Maybe we're just kind of exhausted and depleted because we're overworking ourselves, or we have too many commitments. And so just kind of making sure that we engage in self-care and prioritize things is going to be super important. So again, use NAILED and use HALT to kind of check in with yourselves about how you're feeling emotionally. These are also great to use with kids. It's just an easy way, an easy check-in and easy words to remember, so that you can kind of get more in touch with how you're feeling and gain that self-awareness. So I hope you found this video helpful. Feel free to drop a comment or ask a question. If you would like to see more content, I put out new content every Friday, so follow my Facebook or Instagram pages at Cathartic Space Counseling, or you can follow or subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Anxiety Therapist. So I hope you all have a great weekend. I'll see you next time.